How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. Today I'm going to review this MEGEAR 16 amp EV charger with the NACS connector. This is basically the Tesla connector. Just a word of warning here, I found out later on that this is not UL certified. Being 16 amps, it needs this special connector. This is a 20 amp connector where one of the blades is horizontal instead of vertical. So you need this plug somewhere in your house in order to use this EV charger up to the 16 amps that it's capable of. If you don't have that, it does come with an adapter that goes to your typical AC wall outlet plug where the two blades are vertical, and this can go up to 15 amps. Not everyone knows that you're supposed to give a headroom of at least 20% if you're running continuous current things like EV chargers. Therefore, even though this plug is 15 amps, you're only supposed to run up to 12 amps to charge an EV. That's also the reason why when you have the Tesla mobile connector and you have this wall plug, it can only go up to 12 amps. Because this is a dumb connector, it's not gonna know that you plugged it into your regular wall outlet. So it'll be interesting to test this out if I connect the lower amperage connector here, and will it still let me use 16 amps? So let's now give this a try. Comes with the carrying case, and this uses the Tesla connector, the NACS standard. I measured the bendable part of this cable, and it's 18 foot 8 inches from here to here. And because this is an NACS charger for Teslas or cars that have the NACS connector, it makes sense to compare it with the Tesla mobile connector. The mobile connector comes with the standard plug, and it can go up to 12 amps. You can get other kinds of more high voltage plugs, and these can go up to 32 amps. Comparing the connector itself, it's very, very similar, except it's a little bit longer here. They both have the control buttons to open up the charge door. If you look at the plugs in the Tesla connector, there are little lines that goes along the internal of the connector, which allows it to expand and push on the pins that goes in. In this MEGEAR version, it seems like it's just a single barrel with knurls inside to make the contacts. In terms of rigidity though, they feel about the same and about the same density. If you look at the charge cable, the top one being the Tesla one and this one being the MEGEAR, the two cables are very similar in diameter, but I can say that MEGEAR is just a smidgen thinner. I do like this little plastic strain relief here. You can bend it and it'll try to keep the radius fairly large. Same thing with the top, versus on the Tesla mobile connector, there is no strain relief here or the top side. The back of the device has this chart telling you what the LEDs are doing and what it means. If it's green and on, it's usually good. If it's blinking, it's usually good. But if it's red, something is wrong with it. And based on how fast it blinks, it will indicate a certain kind of error. So even though it's not UL certified, at least it does do some kind of self-error correction and let you know if there's anything wrong. On the front of the device, you have the power LED, fault LED, charge LED, and AC output LED. No apps are needed with this charger. You just plug it in. I don't have the special plugs in my garage, so I'm just gonna plug it in right here. The power light turns on and it's ready to plug into my car. Let's see if the button works. There we go. It does have this QC Pass sticker here. Let me peel that off. Plug it in. And within the app, it says I can start charging. So let's start. Starts off at 5 amps, but it seems like it's capable of up to 16. So let's increase this and see if it'll let us charge at 16 amps. It went up to 18 momentarily, and it's holding still at 16 amps. Now you have to reduce it back down to 12 amps if you're using the 15 amp connector. But let's go up to 16 and see if the charger will heat up significantly. Green power, charging is blinking, AC output is green. Fault is actually not on. There's some green light leakage into the fault LED display, but charge is blinking, which means it's charging and there are no faults. Charging at 16 amps, we can see the wattage ramp up here. It's complaining it's a little bit high. Let me use another measurement device. This one's not complaining. It can do up to 1,950 watts. Right now we're at 1,905 watts and at 15.6 amps. Half an hour later, it's still at 15.76 amps. My measurement device is getting hotter than the connector itself, which is 96 degrees Fahrenheit. The cable 78, which is nominal. The charger is at 94 degrees Fahrenheit, which is okay. The output cable is at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The charge plug is cooler at 76 degrees, and the cable right at the charge plug is 78 degrees. So it looks like the cable gets cooler as it's further away from the central device, because this thing has an electronics 94 degrees and it's heating up this cable because it's attached to it. It looks like I should remove this measurement device because it's making things hotter than it should be. So let me do that. Now's a good time to take a look at the charge cable. 3 conductors are 14 gauge. There's 2 conductors that are 22 gauge. The temperature rating goes from -40 to 105 Celsius. This is around 220 Fahrenheit. To give you an idea, if you touch it and it feels really hot to the point where you almost cannot touch it, is around 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So to get to 220 Fahrenheit, it would be extremely, extremely hot, and you don't want to touch that at all and it'll burn you. So the fact that this cable can resist that much heat, it's a positive. It also says it's water resistant to 60 degrees C and it's 300 volt capable. A more careful look at this shows that my socket plate in the wall is heating up more than the connector itself. This part right here is what you're buying, and it's good to see that it's cooler than my really old 20-year-old wall plate. Overall, it's working as stated, at least in my initial run. I can't say much about the long-term reliability, nor can I say anything about exhaustive testing that UL certification would do. I am a little bit concerned that it would actually let you charge at 16 amps even though you have a 15 amp connector on there. So I think it would be best if they have some kind of tag on this connector itself saying, you know, charge at only up to 12 amps with this one, and with this connector you can go up to 16 amps. But with that said, I did charge it at maximum with the lower amperage plug and it didn't overheat. I charged it around half an hour to 40 minutes or so, and it only reached about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep in mind though, it's in the winter right now, it's 64 degrees ambient. During the summer when it's hotter, everything is likely gonna get like 10 degrees hotter or 20 degrees hotter even. And the limit usually for electronics is it should not get hotter than 130 degrees. So this plug using 12 amps is likely for the worst case scenario. Let's say you're in somewhere very, very hot in the middle of Arizona or something and it's 110 degrees outside, then you probably need to charge at 12 amps. But in order for a typical consumer to understand this, it's a little bit much. So I prefer for most people, if you don't know too much about the underlying how to specify a cable, then it's probably better to just get something that would prevent you from doing so in the first place. If you guys are interested in still getting this product, check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.